Today we are going to explain mathematically how G is affected by latitude and rotational motion of Earth. So let me draw Earth first of all. Over here, suppose this is Earth, and if I just draw the position something like this, suppose this is the line joining the North Pole and the South Pole, and this is the equator. We try to divide it like a normal axis, okay? And suppose a particular body is located over here, somewhere over here. Suppose a particular body is located somewhere over here. So body is located over here. And if I just try to say that the position of this body with respect to the center, that means is theta. So that means we can say the latitude of the body is, or the position of the body is theta. It is at a particular angle theta with respect to the line joining the center of the earth with the body, and earth rotates about its axis. So let me consider, let omega be the angular speed. Let omega be the angular speed of earth, which is rotating about its axis. Now one thing we have to understand that as this is the body is over here on the surface of earth, so what is happening? Earth attracts every body towards its center. So earth is attracting this body towards its center, and we can call that to be the weight of the body, and I can call that to be mg. So this is one of the force experienced by the body. Now another force that is experienced by this particular body, since this earth is rotating about its axis. So one thing is very, very clear. The body on the surface of earth is also undergoing a circular path. This circle will be something like this. So you can consider this to be a circular path. So this will be something like this. Let me just show like this. So this is so that you can say the body is actually also moving in a circular path. So whenever a body moves in a circular path, it also experiences another force, and that force is what? And that force is the centrifugal force. So I can easily draw this centrifugal force over here. So that means this particular body is being acted by two forces. One, this is the weight of the body, and the other, the centrifugal force. This is suppose this. So this is centrifugal force. So what is the value of centrifugal force? If I consider the radius of this particular circle, the small circle, this is not the great circle, that is not the equator. So this is a small circle. So the radius of the small circle is suppose r. And if I just join this line over here, so I can just join this like this. So this will be also, by the concept of alternate angle, this will be also theta. So the force experienced by this particular body of mass small m, one is mg, which is directed towards the center, and the other is the centrifugal force, which is actually directed away from the center. Right? So this is actually directed away from the center. And what is the value of the centrifugal force? That is m omega square r. So the value of the centrifugal force. So what can I say? So there are two forces. One, the centrifugal force, and the other, that is equals to m omega square r. This is number one. And number two is actually the mg, that is the weight of the body. So this is very, very important. So this is the weight of the body. Okay. So this is the weight of the body. So one thing, that means when we say that what is the net force acting on the body, so we'll obviously say the net force acting on the body will be therefore the resultant of these two forces. Am I clear? So the net forces will be acting on the body, that is equal to the resultant of the two forces, and the resultant of the two forces can be found out by using the concept of parallelogram law of vector addition. If I just complete this parallelogram over here, so over here, this is parallelogram we can consider. So the resultant of these two forces will be acting something like this. So you can say this is the direction of the resultant. Am I clear to all of you? So this is the direction of the resultant. Now if this is theta, so the angle between the two forces therefore will be equals to 180 minus theta. So I can say this resultant, so this is the resultant actually. So this resultant is nothing but the apparent weight of the body. So this is nothing but the apparent weight of the body. Apparent weight of the body. I hope it is clear. Apparent weight of the body. So apparent weight of the body is equals to, therefore we can say mg dash. So if I just turn the page, so we have got two forces. If we consider, there are basically two forces over here. One, the centrifugal force, and other, the weight. And this particular weight is acting, these two forces are acting at an angle of 180 degree minus theta. So this is the centrifugal force, that is m omega square r. I have already discussed, and this is your weight mg, that is the actual weight of the body, and the resultant of these two forces will be given by the parallelogram law of vector addition. So this is the resultant of these two forces. So this is given by the parallelogram law of vector addition. So this will be the direction of the resultant of the two forces. Right. So this is the resultant, and I told you this is the apparent weight. So if I use the parallelogram law of vector addition, so this will be equal to mg dash whole square. That is equals to, therefore I can write fc square plus w square plus twice fc into w into cos of 180 minus theta. So from here I will get, this is equals to m square g dash whole square, and this is fc square, and that is equals to m omega square r whole square plus, and this is w, the actual weight of the body, so that is equals to mg whole square plus twice. So let me write with a different color. So this will be equal to twice, instead of fc I will put m omega square r, and this is w mg, and this is equals to minus of cos theta. So this is equals to minus of cos theta. So this is minus of cos theta. So from here you just take out m square, you take out. So if I just take out m square, and this is g dash square, and this if I take out m square from here, I will get a term omega to the power 4 into r square plus g square minus twice, this will be equals to omega square g r cos theta. So this is equals to m square, and m square gets cancelled. So this is m square, and this is m square. Now one thing you have to understand, children, that the angular velocity omega is equals to how much? That is equals to time taken by Earth to complete a circular path, that means circle of rotation about its axis, that is equals to 24 hours. And 24 hours equals to 86400 seconds. So we can say the angular speed of Earth rotating about its axis is given by 2 pi divided by 86400 second, 400 radian per second. Now one thing you have to understand, children, this 2 pi by 86400 is a very small quantity. So if you just consider this to be a very small quantity, so what will happen? So you can just take this to be very small. You can see this is very, very small. And if you just calculate it, it will be very, very a small value of order of around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So around 10 to the power minus 5 value, minus 5 range. So its omega to the power 4 will be a much smaller quantity. So we can say that omega to the power 4 tends to 0. So we get g dash square is equals to g square minus twice omega square into r into g into cos theta. Now take G square outside, if I take G square outside, so let me do in the next page. So it will be G dash square will be equals to G square outside. If I take, you'll be getting 1 minus, so that will be equals to twice omega square. So you can do 1 minus twice omega square R by G into cos theta, because I'm taking G square outside, so one of the G will be getting multiplied in the denominator. So this you are getting. So G dash. Now one thing I like to just draw your attention over here, that is if I just quickly move on to the next page. Children, if you consider this triangle, if I consider this triangle over here, so this radius of arc is equals to R, and this small radius I have taken as small r. So what can I say? So this is equals to cos theta, that is equals to small r by capital R, where capital R is the radius of Earth. So capital R is the radius of Earth. So small r equals to, therefore I can say, what should be the value of small r? Value of small r, therefore I can say r into cos theta. So value of small r equals to r into cos theta. So if I just put the value over here, this G dash square will be equals to G square bracket 1 minus twice omega square r cos square theta by G. So take this G dash, if I square root, if I take, so this will be G into 1 minus twice omega square r into cos square theta by G to the power half. Now one thing you have to understand, children, this is very, very important. That is, this omega I told you is a very, very small quantity. And always remember, if x is much greater than, much less than 1. So x is much less than 1. So it will be what? So if I take x is much less than 1, so we can say 1 minus x whole to the power n is equals to 1 minus nx. So 1 minus x whole to the power n is equals to 1 minus nx, neglecting the higher powers. So I can write over here that G dash is equals to G bracket 1 minus twice omega square r cos square theta by G into half. So this and this will get cancelled. So very, very important. This 2 and this 2 will get cancelled. So you get the final expression of apparent G as G dash equals to G into 1 minus omega square r cos square theta by G. So this is the formula. So this is the very, very important thing, that is G dash is equals to G into 1 minus omega square r cos square theta divided by G. So this is a very, very important term, and I will just like to write down this. And one thing I like to explain you that, just let me move on to the next page. So G dash is equals to, therefore I can write G into 1 minus omega square r cos square theta, omega square r cos square theta by G. Now there are two positions, children. One, if I just try to draw Earth once again, one is actually the equator and the other is the pole, right? So one is the equator and the other is the pole. So if I just take at the equator, so what shall be the value? At the equator, your value of theta is equals to 0. Now one thing you can see very well over here, this acceleration due to gravity, that is the apparent acceleration due to gravity, is dependent upon the angular speed and also depends upon the latitude, that is theta. At the equator, that is theta equals to 0. So I can write G dash is equals to G into 1 minus omega square r, and cos square 0. Cos square 0 is 1 divided by G. So G dash is equals to G bracket 1 minus omega square, sorry, this will be capital R, omega square r by G. So it is minimum at the equator. Now at the pole, At the pole, theta equals to 90 degree, and you know that cos 90 is equals to 0. So your this total part will become 0. So g dash is becoming equal to g. So we have already seen that acceleration due to gravity is maximum at the poles and minimum at the equator. Am I clear or not? So you can find this is minimum at the equator. So one thing you have seen, children, that mathematically we have tried to establish that acceleration due to gravity varies not only with or depends not only due to on the latitude, but also depends upon the angular speed. So this is very important. So I think it's clear to all of you. So this is very important. So we have just discussed this, and it is minimum